This is KUTX at home. I'm Jody Denberg, and this is so cool. We're going to spend quality time with Matthew McConaughey, who the world knows as an Academy Award winning actor. What you may not know, he's a member of the faculty right here on the University of Texas campus. He is an author, minority owner in a soccer team that's coming our way to Austin, and most importantly, one of the driving forces of the Just Keep Living Foundation and its Texas Relief Fund benefit this Sunday at 7. The benefit's called Weird Texas. You'll find it on Matthew McConaughey's YouTube channel here in Texas on Spectrum News 1 on the TV. And oh my God, what a lineup. I'll mention some of the folks that are going to be joining Matthew and his wife, Camila. Willie Nelson, Don Henley, Gary Clark Jr., Miranda Lambert, Khalid, Kelly Clarkson, Post Malone, and a bunch of really cool celebrity presenters, Renee Zellweger, Jennifer Garner, Troy Aikman, Woody Harrelson amongst them. And there's also going to be folks telling the story or their stories of surviving the storm. Matthew, good to see you. An amazing Texas lineup. What motivated you and Camila to put this show together?
Yeah, thank you, Jody. Yeah, it is a deep bench for the lineup. You know, the freeze hit. It was obvious we're better dealing with heat than a freeze like this. And power goes out, water pipes burst, flooding comes. We're like, oh my gosh, Texas is going to need plumbers for a while. And different versions of plumbers, cleanups. People are going to be displaced. And it's like, okay, we got to do something now. What's the best platform to do it, and how can we do it in a way that could be entertaining? And that's where the idea of the benefit came from. So I got on the horn, started calling people, got immediate yeses. How can I help? Where and when? Let me know from just about everybody. And the challenge is you got a timely disaster. You need to hit it while it's hot, while it's still relative and on page one. At the same time, you want to put together a good show. So the 21st at 7 p.m. is the earliest we could do it, and all these things came together at once. And that's what it's for. We've already had a lot of Texas businesses and businesses even from outside of Texas make huge donations early. And there'll be a donate button all night. We're broadcasting to the world for people to come in and help Texas out. And also a big part of the show is that a lot of Texans aren't saying, give me a handout. We're saying we need a helping hand, and there's a difference. One of the coolest things about the stories is everybody we show that is in dire need of so much, nobody was wanting a handout. Everybody had pulled their bootstraps up, but just saying, hey, I'm taking care of myself as best I can, but I could use a little help.
Mm. Now, we had some power outages here at my house. We lost water. Did you or your family experience any of that stuff?
We did. We lost power. We had a pipe burst upstairs, so we had to pull out some of the wall downstairs where it leaked. And then we were still boiling water, I think, up until about 3 days ago.
Some of the groups who will be the recipients of Sunday's benefit, the Austin Disaster Relief Network, Meals on Wheels Central Texas, Salvation Army, Save the Children, and there's more. How did you choose the groups that would benefit from Sunday's show?
Yeah, well, we vetted and tried to go to people that were giving necessities. All right, they're really important to Camila and I were that we give necessities, not luxuries. These nonprofits on the ground, some of them we've worked with before. I've worked with Meals on Wheels for some time. We're helping people out that needed the help, whose lives have been upended, whether it was elders or whether it was children or people that couldn't move back into their house or lost mattresses, had nowhere to sleep, or had no way to get clean water, maybe still don't. All the way down to someone who is handicapped and disabled and lost their ramp. And yes, that ramp's going to get fixed in the end of May if we don't fix it now. But end of May is a little bit too far out. So how can we give people the needs? And we found that these nonprofits cover a spectrum too, because it's all over Texas. We're hitting urban and we're hitting rural. So we're trying to hit every zip code where they need it in Texas.
We're talking with Matthew McConaughey. He and his wife, Camila, are putting on a benefit Sunday. We're Texas. It's online on Matthew's YouTube channel, Sunday at 7. It's on TV in the Lone Star State on Spectrum News 1. And you guys run the Just Keep Living organization. When and how did you and Camila form Just Keep Living? It's a nonprofit. It's committed to the health and well-being of kids. When and how did it begin?
Yeah, this is about 10 years ago. I was, I've been looking for a way and a place where I could use my energy and time to get back in the right way. We decided on children because we wanted to say, hey, you can prevent before you need to cure if you get them early. An incentive-based program, helping young men and women in Title I schools, which are the lower income schools, a lot of single parent families. Some of these areas are not the nicest neighborhoods, some gang related neighborhoods. They come to our curriculum twice a week after school. They get a safe place to go after school, number one, which we had no idea that was going to be a benefit until we did it for a couple of years. They set a physical goal. That may be, hey, I want to make the soccer team. I'm not in shape. I can't even run a quarter mile. Well, we're going to help you get in shape. It may be, hey, I want to lose 3 pounds to fit in my prom dress. We set nutritional goals. Hey, instead of just having maybe burgers every night that you got from the fast food joint, let's take that exact same amount of money, take you and your mother to the supermarket, and let's walk through the produce section and get some rice, maybe a little bit of meat, get a healthier meal that you can get for the same price, and you get to cook it together at home. The family time is valuable. Third is community service. All the young men and women have to give service back to their own community. And fourth is sort of the halo that's over our curriculum, which is gratitude. The children have to, the young men and women have to sit around in a circle afterwards and out loud say something they're thankful for. And this was kind of the hardest part, because I found out after about a year that to say thank you as a high school student to your peers, it ain't cool. So we got in there one day, and I was in the circle, Camila and I noticed everyone was really tight, like, oh, I'm thankful for the Just Keep Living Foundation, or oh, I'm thankful for the Just Keep Living Foundation. They just repeat each other, and I was like, for some reason, these students feel like they're having to open up a closet of their secrets if they say thank you. So it got to me in the circle, and I said, I'm thankful I woke up this morning, and I got a big wet French kiss from my wife. And they went, ooh, oh, and I was like, yes, you can say thank you for fun things. So all of a sudden, these children started saying, I'm thankful Halloween's coming up. I'm thankful I'm feeling so sexy today, and this, that, and the other. And they started to laugh. Well, what happened is about a month later, then they started to reveal these deep things like, I'm happy my sister now has got control over diabetes. I'm happy my mom got a job. I'm happy my grandmother is able to go to the hospital to get healthy again. So they started to share these things. And the coolest thing, Jody, about the Gratitude Circle, when we ask the young men and women what they like about it the most, they say this. They say, for the first time, I'm hearing my peers say thank you for something in their life that I have in my life that I've always taken for granted, never said thank you for.
In my life, gratitude is the best prayer. So for you, gratefulness, I'd imagine, and also the fact that you and Camila have 3 children of your own probably led to your work in public service. And it didn't just start with the Just Keep Living Foundation. You know, we're going on, I think, 8 years of the Mac, Jack, and McConaughey benefit shows. You rescued pets after Katrina. You guys with Mac, Jack, and McConaughey, you've raised $15 million for charities. You emceed the Hurricane Harvey relief show. So what are the roots of your activism or social activism?
Yeah, well, look, I'm in a position to be able to give back. I got a megaphone. I got a platform. I'm well aware of that. I also must say, selfishly, it feels good to see someone's face light up when I can provide a need that maybe they didn't have before. With this benefit we're doing, We're Texas, to see already giving some things out, to see these people's face light up, that they're receiving something they wouldn't have got otherwise. Purpose rears its head. And I feel like I have a good purpose in my life, but when some things like this happen, whether it's this benefit or whether it's our foundation or the Mac, Jack, and McConaughey, we're helping fulfill a real need, a real purpose, and honored to be able to do it. I'm also honored that my children get to see their father and mother do it and see that, hey, giving back should be on your docket, your daily docket. It should be on your proverbial desk Monday morning to have a look outside of yourself and say, you know what? I'm in a privileged position. I'm in a real good, I'm one of the haves. Look at this whole year of COVID. My pantry's full. I don't have to work today to pay my rent tomorrow like so many people do. So just to realize that is something I try to remind myself, but I also am very happy and hopeful that my children understand that and will take it into their lives when they get out of our house.
It's this Sunday, the benefit We're Texas, and the lineup is mind-boggling. And Texas, from Willie Nelson to Khalid to Leon Bridges, Lyle Lovett, Miranda Lambert, Post Malone. Sunday at 7 on Matthew's YouTube channel, and on TV if you live in Texas on Spectrum News 1. So is it this good feeling and this motivation to do well that led you to work down the hallway from KUTX on the university campus in a position that's called Professor of Practice, which I'm not sure what that means? Give me the lowdown.
Professor of Practice, yes, I am very much for the practical aspects of education. I learned more on the set of Dazed and Confused for 3 weeks in 1992. I learned more about filmmaking than I did in 2 years of film school. I had the practical experience. So what I noticed a few years ago before I started the curriculum in the class called Script to Screen is I said, look, I've been making movies for 25 years, and damn, that final product that you see in the theater is very different from that very first script you read, McConaughey. So I said, well, when I was in film school, I always thought that you got a script and you needed to stick exactly to the script. Let's shoot exactly what is on the page. Well, I looked back and I said, I hadn't made one single movie that's exactly what's on that first page. And some of them are wildly different. You won't even be able to recognize the final movie from the original script. So I said, what if I had a class called Script to Screen and shows you the science behind the magic of movie making that takes you through the original script to the second script to the third, fourth, fifth, the shooting script, and then the final movie. And in one semester, these students get to follow the journey that a script takes to becoming a movie. Everyone skins the cat a little differently. Every movie I've made is made a little differently. Inspirations found along the way. Great ideas are doubled down on and abandoned along the way. Budgets rise, budgets lower. You end up having something that maybe is in the spirit of what you hoped it would be in the original script, and sometimes you end up having something that's completely different. And so every director is different, every production's different, and we're showing these young storytellers how a script gets to screen.
So we're both UT graduates, a few years apart. I was a Bachelor of Journalism. You're in the RTF realm, but you were in my realm. You had this book that came out in October, Greenlights. I would imagine everything in your life led up to the book, but UT as well played into it.
Well, yeah, it sure did. I mean, look, if I track back, and you know this, if we look back in our lives from this moment backwards, well, it all adds up. It's all a science. You can connect all the dots. It's moving forward that's the mystery. So one of the stories in the book is I was over in Australia finishing up my year abroad, and I really thought that I wanted to go to Southern Methodist University to become a lawyer. And I was dead set on it. I thought Dallas was a big metropolis city. I'll be able to find an internship there easier than anywhere else. That's what I want to do. Well, my dad calls me and he loved to say mascots for schools. And so SMU's the Mustangs and Texas is the Longhorns, right? So I was down to Texas and SMU, and I was set on SMU. And he says, hey, buddy, what do you think about them Longhorns? And I said, no, Dad, I think I want to be a Mustang, and here's why. I want to go to law school, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you sure you don't want to be a Longhorn? I'm like, no, I want to be a Mustang. He goes, okay, buddy. Hangs up. Well, 5 minutes later, my brother Pat calls me. And Pat goes, hey, man, Dad's not going to tell you this, but the oil business is in rough shape. He's close to broke. And you're going to be doing him a hell of a favor because it's going to cost a lot less to go to UT than it will to SMU. You'd be doing him a solid. So I was like, oh, I called my dad back. I said, Dad, I had to change your mind. I don't want to be a Mustang. I want to be a Longhorn. He's like, oh, God bless you, son. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Well, I never told him, but that's why I did. And man, am I glad I did. You know, it was my brother Pat who introduced me to, even verbally on that phone call that day, told me about why I would love Austin, which is still the same reason I think so many of us love Austin. He goes, man, you ever been to Austin? At that time I said, no, I hadn't. He goes, man, it is you. He goes, you can walk in that town, your flip-flops and a t-shirt, and you can go sit at a bar. You're going to have a Texas Ranger to your left, a lesbian to your right, an American Indian on the other side, and a dwarf on the other side of that, and everyone's getting along. And I was like, man, that sounds cool. And that's, one of the things from that day, it sounded to me from my brother, all you got to do is be you in Austin. And to this day, I think that's our greatest asset of what the city's about.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading some of the other stories in the book, Greenlights. Matthew McConaughey is our guest. It's this Sunday at 7 o'clock. This is right around the corner. The Weird Texas benefit, benefiting the Just Keep Living Foundation's Texas Relief Fund. The lineup is just over the top with Texans. There's going to be so many great guest presenters, and we all hope to see you online. And if you can give and contribute, that would be amazing. Matthew, before you go, I think this question plays into your roles of public service. And in the press lately, there's been speculation about if you were considering running for governor. Is this something that journalists brought up to you and then you thought, that's an interesting idea, or that you brought up to them?
How did it come up? It came. Texans and friends and acquaintances and maybe even strangers started to bring it up to me over the last, I'm going to say many months. And it was something that I was, thinking about before journalists brought it up to me. Then journalists brought it up. I don't believe I ever brought it up first. I think then journalists brought it up and I responded. And am still responding. And I'm still really in the same place of giving it serious consideration. It's an honorable position, and I am really, as I've said, I'm looking for my most useful leadership role. And is that going to be politics? I don't know. Is that going to be me as a free agent? I don't know. That's work I've got. It's work I'm doing right now. I've said it before. Politics got to redefine its purpose. It's a bit of a broken business in many ways right now, and that's reason on one side to say, whew, don't get into that. That's also reason on the other side to say, well, that's a good reason to get into that.
Well, if your purpose is to serve the community, I can't imagine a better way than this benefit on Sunday. I'm lucky. I was able to fix my pipes. I was able to get my water heater fixed. Not everyone's as lucky as you and I. So I hope that everyone listening and everyone watching will join Matthew on Sunday. Again, it's at 7. Just go to Matthew's YouTube channel, or if you got the TV, put it on Spectrum News 1. The benefit is called Weird Texas, and you're hosting it with your wife, Camila. She nervous about that? How's she feeling about it?
You know what? She handed me the baton and told me to run. We started off with the idea that we were going to be doing a tandem, and then she said, you know what, honey? Take the mic, run it solo. She's in the show, and she comes up a couple times when I'm talking about how people get to Texas. Some born here, some move here, some marry in, some come just for the barbecue, and how Texas will leave its mark on you. It's going to be more of a revival than a sob show. All right, this is about, one of the great things about every story we found of people in real need on the ground in Texas. Nobody was laying down. Everybody was working their backsides off, trying to recuperate, trying to restore their life, but they just didn't have the means to do so. So this benefit's going to be helping out those people that want to help themselves but are unable to right now. And that's sort of one of the halos of the Texas spirit that we're going to be broadcasting to the world on Sunday night is, hey, we're not looking for a handout, but we are looking for a helping hand because we need it. We more than want it, we need it. And boy, Texans have rallied around. And I think Sunday's show can be an example to the whole world of who we are when we're our best as Texas.
Weird Texas. That's the show. Sunday night. Matthew McConaughey has been our guest on KUTX at home. Good to see you again, and I look forward to seeing you on TV and online Sunday night.
I appreciate it, and good to see you, Jody, and look forward to next time, sir.
All right. Be well.
All right, man. You too.